Good afternoon, Eco TV listeners and viewers. This is Larry Cisse. We are back on our usual Thursday program with my colleague Lamin Mane. We will introduce Lamin and then we'll talk about the issues that we want to highlight today.
Thank you very much, Larry. Good morning, good afternoon to our dear listeners inside the Gambia and outside, wherever you are. Thanks for welcoming into your homes and for sharing your time with us. We'll be happy to be back here. Thank you.
Yes, mbadi mandinkolu Gambianolu mobe dawda ni mu juber lati mu lamoy lati mbal be kontonna to lenata kote ke Larry Cisse ni Lamin Mane mbal kontonnam mbal jayila mbal tentula fanangal benjibe kan nyame nying Eco TV bi ñing aramiso mbe ku fula wala ku sabadron ne kachala bari kumayata bakele an si lafi mol si la muy la kendeke pour nka même foy sa faham lam
yes Larry baraka madin Gambian kolu ani Gambia terolu be dawdan mbali be kontonna ma falale assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh en wata ko ka murna ko bi nga kacha la re men fo be kulun kachala bi do kare ali be nga mira ko la kende ke nga kacha katu kule be ke kam mi yalon ko be nyanta hakilu to la je bakele ko important baake kuma yata baake donc mbokk yi maa ngi leen di nuyu di leen sant ku nekk ak sa tur ak sa sant di leen jox seen wàccuwaay yu mat sëkk di leen gërëm ci seen déglu bi ak seetaan bi Eco TV ñun la fi nekkal ñun ñëpp ñu ngi kontaan di mbég ci yéen di gën a seetaan Eco TV ñu ngi koy rafetlu bu baax a baax parce que Eco TV Gambie fi la fi nekkal ñun la fi nekkal ñu mun a waxtaane mbiri réew mi ñu diisoo ko pencoo ko nga xam ne li fi xew duñ nangu ñu jën a pàccoo ko rek dañ ko ñu pencoo ko ñun ñëpp so ñu ngi leen a sant di leen gërëm ci seen dégluwaay bu rafet bi ak seen seetaan bi di leen asalaamaaleykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Good. Thank you very much, Lamin. The first item today is the infamous Sidinjai statement on coffee time last Tuesday, I think.
Yes.
You know, when you look at what Sidinjai has said and what he is trying to convey, you cannot but conclude that Sidinjai's statement is about UDP having armed militias, underline armed militias. This statement and statements like it are how genocides begin. We have seen it in Bosnia-Herzegovina, we have seen it in Rwanda, we have seen it in DRC, we have seen it in Central African Republic. We don't want Sidinjai to bring chaos into this country. That statement of his, in any serious leadership situation, would have cost him his job, to say the least. But we are going to put all of that in a context. And the context is corruption. Now, we keep telling you on this program and other programs that corruption is the greatest betrayal of the public trust. But the abuse of power, impunity, is the greatest sin of them all. Sidinjai's statement is an abuse of power. He is using his position to foment discord in our society. We shouldn't let that happen. Why shouldn't we let it happen? We should look for true leadership. And true leadership is all about integrity. Does Sidinjai possess any integrity at all to preach to Gambians what we should be doing in our political ecosystem? Because integrity is the cornerstone and the defining character of a leader. We need leaders that have integrity. We need leaders that have character traits that suggest that they can be honest with us, that we can trust what they tell us. Sidinjai's statement strikes at the heart of what is happening in this government since the UDP colleagues left the government in 2018. There are serious leadership lapses. There are serious cases of corruption, and they are fighting tooth and nail to make sure that we do not hold them to account. It is not UDP that should hold these people to account. It is Gambians that should hold them to account, and they are doing everything possible to avoid accountability. Let us put another context to it. In order to try to avoid accountability, they are threatening their opponents and their critics. The president said he can do bad things to people. The Minister of Agriculture echoed it and said we are ready to spill blood for President Barrow to stay in power. And now Sidinjai is saying armed militia. Where in this country did we see armed militia roaming freely and harassing people? If there is any armed militia, Sidinjai should be held to account to show people credibly who these armed militias are. Otherwise, he's stoking the fires of a genocide, and Gambians need to be aware of what he is trying to do. Lam.
Thank you very much, Larry, and I want to bounce back on a word you used there, leadership. Sidinjai is not a leader. Sidinjai is simply a hypocritical sycophant. Sidinjai is here just to make sure that his bread is buttered. That's all he is. What has Sidinjai ever done for this country? What qualifications does Sidinjai have? What warrants Sidinjai being as rich as he is today? Corruption and sycophancy. That's why he's saying the things he's saying. Sidinjai doesn't have anything to him. No substance. This guy can hardly express himself in any language. My flow is not very good, but his Wolof, his English, his Mandinka, he just can't express himself. He just goes by some cliche, that's what he uses. And this guy has been using his sycophancy to be able to rip the Gambian people off and get rich, which he is today. Sidinjai, remember, this is the guy from his student days, was a sycophant to Jammeh, was selling of the students and selling them out to be able to get rich, to get close to power, and to get some crumbs falling from the bread of Jammeh. This is the guy who, in the impasse, became a 7 or 9 day minister.
He precipitated the impasse.
No, but when he started, he became a 7 or 9 day minister in the government of information, and this is the guy who said that Barrow will never be sworn in this country, it will be over his dead body. This is the guy who, with Fabakary Tombong Jatta, incited the state of emergency. And they created chaos in this country. People had to flee this country because they thought there was going to be conflict. And that's the chaos they wanted. So they declared state of emergency, people fled this country, people died on that road fleeing the country. People's houses were burglared and destroyed whilst they were out of this country. People's families broke up because wives and kids died on the way when they were running away from this country. That is the man we're talking about. Or that is the individual we are talking about. I don't think I should call him a man. That's the individual we are talking about. This is the guy who knew that he did so much harm to this country that when Jammeh left, he fled with Jammeh because he thought he was going to be lynched if he stayed here. But the Gambians, we don't lynch people. We are very smart people. We are very honorable people. We don't lynch people. We tell you the truth in your face. This is the guy who left this country because he thought when Jammeh left, he was going to be in trouble. So he fled the country with Jammeh. But because Barrow didn't do anything to bring those people to account, he felt safe and came back here. And when he came, what did he do? Fabakary Tombong Jatta and him went to see Barrow to tell him, you know what, we can help you, but you have to throw UDP out. I didn't say it. Barrow said it.
Yeah.
Barrow said it. He said when they said it to him, he was shocked. But then he thought, oh, maybe they are right. So these are the people who, he fled this country because he thought he was going to be in trouble for what he did to this country and to the Gambians. When he sensed that Barrow is not the kind who's going to hold anybody to account, he came back and he went into cahoots with Barrow and he became deputy speaker.
Using the tribal card.
Exactly. So this guy who did all that harm to the country, who fought against Barrow becoming president, Barrow picks him to make him deputy speaker in the House. He appoints him as nominated member and then makes him deputy speaker because simply he is a sycophant, he is a tribalist who was going to use a tribal card against the Gambians. This is the man who, together with Debo by force, Hamad Ba, and Demba Sabali, are stoking the fires of tribalism in this country. Can these people think? Do they think the Gambians are dumb to fall for that rhetoric? In 2021, they tried it, and even then they did not succeed. They succeeded in changing a few minds, but the great majority of Gambians did not buy that nonsense. Excuse my language, because it is really nonsense. How can you turn to Gambians and tell them that the UDP will throw you out, your ethnic group, when they come to power? Who is UDP to throw anybody out of this country? The UDP is composed of Gambians of all ethnic origins in this country, of all religious and regional backgrounds in this country. We have no more rights than anybody in this country who is Gambian. How can we throw anybody out? But they went out there, they said those silly things. And they went on to make sure that Gambians doubted themselves. Because it's not doubting the UDP's loyalty to the Gambia, it's doubting their intelligence that they can believe something like that. That's what they wanted. But most Gambians did not buy it. Some fled out of fear that we have such nefarious people in the country, it could lead to conflict. So people fled the country. And this is the person today who is trying to stoke this vision in this country again. That is the individual who a few months back stopped the construction of a maternity ward in Nyanija simply because it did come from him and NPP. This is the guy who built a mansion in Nyanija, plus the ones he has in this Greater Banjul area. Where did he get the money from? Where? It is those undue privileges that they're trying to protect. Yep. Because he knows that he'll be held to account to tell us where he got all of that money from. Sirinjai doesn't own a business here. Sirinjai doesn't have any known source of income to get him that kind of money to do what he's doing. Where is the money coming from? And they fear accountability. They fear that we'll call them to account to say, tell us where you got that money from. So they say, let's burn down the country. You will not burn down this country. The Gambians will not let you do it. We will not. But we will throw out the NPP government and make you guys account for what you're doing in this country. Sirinjai, you should have been in jail by now for all that you did to this country and the Gambians. For the Gambians who fled this country, who died on the roads. For what you did against this country, try to create chaos here and subvert the will of the people. The people voted for Barrow in 2016. You wanted to subvert the will of the people to keep Jammeh here. You should have been held to account for that. You should have been in jail for that. You should have been in jail for stoking conflict in this country. But because Barrow is who he is, today you're sitting there enjoying privileges which are not due to you, and you think you can stand there and gis nga réew mi foog ñu taxaw wax dëgga mu toog fi ñu fii lañ juddoo fii lañ magee. Of course fii lañ juddoo fii lañ magee. Yow yaay kan? Yow Sidi Ndiaye loo doon ci réew mi loo fi def li nga xam ne moo la jox li nga am tey kër gi nga samp ñaani jaar kër yi nga am fii foo jëlee xaalis bi parce que ñun xamuñu la fi business xamuñu la fi loo xam ne na la indil xaalis.
He was renting in 2017.
Yes, da nga doon luwaas fii bi nga nekkoon loo daan koo na xamoon nañ la fii nga nekkoon fii xam nañ la bul tax ñu wala ku yow yaay kan soo yow amuloo fi dara doonuloo fi dara goruloo ettuloo ñaan ak mbon moo la indi li nga nekkee nii. Sidi Ndiaye da nga bon ba boo xam bonaat waaye duñu la bàyyi nga taal réew mi parce que ñun réew mi daf ñu ñor réew mi dañ koo sàmm ko against people like you. Yow pour sa bànneexi bopp ak sa taraanga bopp rek yéen la nga taal réew mi gis nga su li nga wax ni Gambie dañ amoon fii militia su Gambie amoon fii militia UDP bon yéen lañu war a tëj parce que yéen a amee réew mi naka la UDP amee militia ci réew mi fii yéen mënu leen koo stop mu leen a wàññi mënu leen ñoo wax kan la ah su loolu amoon tey ni kon kontaan ngeen tëj ngeen UDP sax waxuma la UDP suba war ni ngeen tëj UDP parce que yéen a fi taxawoon bi ñu rëyee PIU officers yi fii te kenn xamul kañ leen rëy kañ la leen rëy te ba tey waxu leen ci dara bés bu ñu xëyee ci ngeen génn Sankare génn fii ne ñi ko rëy xam nañ ñan lañ dañ nekkoon security guard ci Yankuba Dabo UDP ñu ngi woon ci UDP demonstrations dañ demoon ci juma fa lañ joxe xaalis bi fa lañ ko séedoo lan lañ wax nañ ci lu nekk pour tuumal UDP lan lañ ci naroon tuumal UDP ñoo rey police yi ñu téye ñeen a tëj leen tas parti bi loolu la Macky Sall defoon Sénégal fan ngeen ko jàngee loolu nga bëggoon a def fii seen DIG Sow génn a wax di same thing di jéem a explain triangulation mënu ko wax xamu ko sax muy wax loo xam ne kenn mënu koo dégg loolu yëpp pour tuumal UDP yéen a ko fi def yéen a ko fi wax loolu doyut xam que yàlla mooy buur de bi ngeen ñu buggee tuumal yàlla weer leen ne du UDP ngeen dus am ci gàcce te ngeen ne waa xaaral ñu tuumal leen dañ amee ay gànnaay di xoxatal nit ñi dara du ci dégg te yow xam nga ko su doon fii li fii dox su fekkee ne yoon la ni kon yow dàq nañ la ci nguur gi fi nga nekk tey parce que da nga bëgg a jaxasoo doomi réew mi da nga bëgg a indi fitna ci réew mi yëpp pour lan ndi xaalis ndi sa bànneex ndi sa teranga innama amwaalikum awlaadikum fitna seen doom ak seen alal fitna la ci yéen yow xaalis fitna la pour yow war duñu la bàyyi nga taal réew mi te dinañ la toppa nag dinañ toppa ba lii fi mu amee fi mu jeex nañ la ci toppa te bés bu nguuri Barrow wàccee Sidi Ndiaye yow xanaa yow nga daw de parce que lu ko may dañ la taaj nga wax ñu li nga wax yi fan nga ko jëlee di nga génne évidence ñeneen nañ dem court xam nañ ci demee ko dara du ci génn tey dañ ko drag bi fii lay 2026 waaye ñu ngi lay bàyyi xel duñ la bàyyi nga taal réew mi
ñu ko bàyyi bot itam
mbaadiŋolu ali hekkatu de bari ñantañum fola kaŋo bee Sidi Ndiaye la ko UDP koolu ye moolu le londi min yaalo koye joraŋol diila i ka taa moolu yaa ka foy ko niŋal quartier fo jam mbaali bayla le mbaali i ka taa jumaal le yaa ko ñiŋ siidul make man niŋ kooti ka taa kii silandi ke ka foye mbaali faala le mbaali barama le mbaali kela ten a koolu be ñiŋ bankoo kan ja UDP le wol londi ja ni UDP ye masa kunda taanu nga ayo kenu mo safa to jale fa kenu bar UDP be opposition la kon masa kunda al tolle be siri nge police ni ami bal tolle bul nata ko UDP yo ko natal mol arrest woto milo ki dol ni fangolta non mol arrest bar siri nge ngete lonne ite manke fente nyim banko kan ite kala fente nyim banko kan fana i manku ke nyim banko kan mi yat ne si nafulu su mbe bulu bi Sidi Ndiaye yek korda balo ñaani ja yeko da min soto ñim irete ba jun jam ya ko do bondimi ya bondimi ite man do ku soto yami yalo kasi ko do sima imam ma ci soto yami do ko sila hande bi waxte be karam bunto dindi yala non waxte be karam bunto dindi yala non ila do ko be munati karam bunto ngol takati bo le ya jamme ya pour ko do soto je ko fendi la je itarta wala ja fu kara ne ministre membati ya jamme ta ay so ay kanomi membati e balu la Gambia dingol tarola ina man do ko kanyum banko fan ya fo do rem anin ka kata si ka mol tinya ya jamme ya bi yana si ko UDP retinya itele si ta jambir 2016 electional banta e gata ministre ma fatiri wora fatiri kono be kata ministre wala ministre of information e ko ya jamme be si la janne barote kalendi la jan bur balo kan yow dafa yete fa folo baro nata kalendi bir baro kalendi la bir ya jamme tay silata yalo ye miliki i borta tata ya ini i wudayta ini ya jamme tata si kin équatorial Guinée bari bawo birim baro sita molu mi ñenta kulula wala mammo kululu wala e xanite murtana biri murtana ini Fabakar Tombo ja tata baroya ka ko 6 mois ko yonole bar fo UDP ko le bay
andum baro fa le off
ya ntol dama ntol baro fon sita mo mali ka da kono a fon lu sita a fo Gambia dingoli akol tule tata jali ya fay akol lumina ya fay ni ku yata wulu akam fata man rasiya yemi ko ñu kan mo to ñale al ka tan dal fana UDP bay ka to wole ba tan nafala wole bang wole be al fana nafala ate banko nafala bara watul nafala so kal ket fanka mate wala ñam kan ko dus ka kadel la fu fal to kon ayeke nominate mbati fon nominate mba ayeke deputy speaker nyimba ko kanjam ama tebul alondi tebul wara ayeke kati drom pour kay se wondi kati kam min faye kadi kilo min laye be kulbe kala iman sile mamalu itel lota jang ko be leptan lo la nyani ja pour mu sola wonu dola ya buruka kata mam boyte ya inde miro mu sola mil be fala tingoto wala mil be wodi ngole bata ye fa memiro ber bari pour itela todiya doron barola karola e musolu bali wala bitano la sidi njaye ben kany ko ka seetal nga lonne andu mi sila wala mo la fadim baro boyte ma sila tele ko yalla ti ñaro ko jamba frale kal al nana ali ko mo fu mo le min seneyata wala ye sila wala mo ñun kunta ya beede
in fa wala be sila wala be sila ndika
exactly kat wala ndabo sabal ko si yelo bo njam wala nda baro ko fay usenda bu frewje ay ta ya bade ay nata wala nda amad baluda ko mul fay mul ma jam wala ta nyam banko malala ndo sonal ya mala karal to alla ko kil dafal wero neji o jertale ko belale ntolu ko Gambia ani Gambia diwol wala yan khati ndo sonal nyam banko mala ndo sonal mo ni yota nyam banko kan sonal mo yero bo nyam banko kan mbe karto fela 2026 ngali bondije UDPSC meti nyaroke ni samba kitiyola ya fa yake nyami wala ya sila bado te bayila bari la kunta yabe bannale nyaabe kan nan dun tebula le nyimban ko tiya la ria baraka
okay lamina baraka lafta mel le fala yemem fodron wala mu yinti ko sidi njaaye nyimem fote nimbanku dolam danum na bota studio kono wolu ne babayla e babayla o do ko wala bare mbenga lon ne koyta bayla because nka fole ko jang mol ka kuol kele kubu ka boje isi kuol ke isi corruptionol ke kuol fo e kuol ke so long as itebe NPP le support kan
yes
isi kuoku ke isi kuoku fo asi wati nintol doli o fo CDM memfo yeah sol labaro ni CDM memfo nintol leo fo no denu yemuta no question about that
mo efente mutal ka tibo ko
because ibe banko le malakan yalong mbadi ngulu corruption o mu kuleti me alonko anin dino fango sutiata nyola muna nankani dino sutiata nyola nimmoli e carte o faye ye makamo dila ibe marali la fengol bela ye tilingu la nyininke nimmol buka tilinno ida o tilimbalia ibe wala kovakan ima lafi moya fo ko karitele nyinke na ya fo mole dalilo me atina yake accountability wala mo accountability fulanjang nyaton kaya mu daji koleti daji ka beto tilingo limania anin tonya fo alinga jibe dro nyimol kam menuke ibe kol kela duma ibe contrat kol sign la mo buka ba kalam ne mala ite ke ijaw follow so nyin daji ka kuo akumayata nyaton kayato bakel mol menu be nyato ali daji kol jibe ba ali ke barol jibe ani fo kumol fo nyul kam menke kam memfo fo wala be bankola interest ba wala bankola nyantoti fa man kala nyantoti yo mbe sauna sidi njay la nyin kumo president barola foko nsi ku kolango keno mollale demba sabal la foko mbe yelo bonna president baro enne na jareta la prior to president yalla sidin njay la nyin kumo sabo dalilol me atin nay ba fola mina wala dunna wala kon andu
Then do Nigeria. So in English for now.
yes
You know, Sidinjai said we UDP have militia in this country, armed militia, which are going around intimidating people. If UDP as an opposition party has militia in this country, why on earth did the government, which has the monopoly of force in this country, why didn't the government have those people arrested? Why didn't the government call those people to account? That is an indictment on the government for you to sit there and tell us that we have militia in this country and you cannot control that. Who are you then? What are you doing in this country as a government? If you can see militia in this country, roaming this country, intimidating Gambians, and you don't do anything about it, why are you at the helm of this country? But it's just because those are all falsehoods that you're peddling in this country, and you know it. You knew that if we had militia in this country, you would have taken that opportunity to arrest those people and to ban the UDP. That is what you wanted to do when the PIU officers were killed by God knows who. Almost 2 years down the line, you cannot tell us who killed those people. Because of course they were not killed by UDP. You tried to frame the UDP. Your government spokesperson went out and said that they were killed by people close to a political party. I believe that's what he said, but anyway, he said that they went to a mosque to share, to be given the money and to share the loot. He said that the guy who killed was in a UDP demonstration and he worked for Brikama Area Council. And a whole series of insinuations which pointed towards UDP being the people behind those assassinations of all police officers. Of course, it was all falsehood. We saw the Deputy Inspector General of Police try to explain to us triangulation. But he could not because he didn't even understand the concept. And it's a mockery of himself that he made there. So you guys are doing everything you try to set up UDP. Can't you just for once be honest to yourselves, have integrity, and do the right thing? We are asking for free and fair elections in this country. You know that you're going to lose elections. You know that you cannot, as Larry would say, you cannot buy them, you cannot steal them, and you cannot bribe your way through them. So what do? Create chaos. We will not allow you to create chaos in this country because for us, we are here to develop this country, not to burn it down. We're in this business to make sure that Gambia develops for the whole of the community, the entire Gambian community. Not an ethnic group, not a region, not a religious persuasion. We're here for the Gambia and the Gambians. And we will fight for that. We will not relent until that happens for this country. But we will do it with the rule of law at the forefront of our preoccupations. We are a law-abiding party. We are a party that says that this country must be based on laws and regulations and principle, not individual interest and sycophancy. We will not allow that to happen. So we will not let you burn this country down. We will not let you lead this country to chaos. You tried it in 2016 with the Jammeh people. When he said Barrow will not be sworn here over your dead body, you fled into exile with him. When you are safe, you're not going to be prosecuted, you came back here and ran to Barrow and tried to play sycophant to him. And that's what got you where you are today. But we will have you in our sights because we will not let you go to burn this country. We will not allow you to do that. This country will be safe from people like you. You are the people who would want to see this country burn so that you can keep your undue privileges. That will not happen. 2026, we'll vote your government out of power and you will be accountable for all the wrong you did to this country. Thanks, Larry.
So basically we are saying Sidinjai is making an occupation out of sycophancy.
Yeah. He has done it all his life.
That's what he has done all his life.
Yes. Yes.
Like you say, he doesn't have the education, he doesn't have the skills, he doesn't have the businesses. So all the talent, all what he can do is to mix things up.
Yeah.
That's what he knows how to do.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we are linking what Sidinjai has said to corruption is because these guys don't want to be held accountable for their actions. And we have said it in many, many platforms. We have been giving a synoptic view of the corruption issues that are still hanging that this government has not been able to resolve because of one reason or another. We want to highlight at least 12 of them. 12 of them. We said it in coffee time the last time I was there. You also said it in different platforms, and we'll continue to say it. There are issues of corruption, and this government knows they don't want to be held accountable for these corrupt acts. And I'm saying corruption not because of hearsay or anything like that. I'm saying corruption because we got all of these things out of the audit reports. It's not like this is a made-up story. No. These are audit reports. And I'm going to start where we think this corruption started from. And that is the $35 million that was deposited in the First Lady's bank account. 35 million. The president himself confirmed it was deposited in her account, and then what happened to the 35 million afterwards is anybody's guess. All we are told was it was used to pay for air tickets. I would like to see a manifesto of $35 million worth of air tickets that they said they have used it. So we are saying this is where the corruption started. When people saw the president hasn't done anything, he just waved it off and explained it off, then the floodgates of corruption opened. Yeah. That is where it started. Yeah. If the president had nipped that thing in the bud and had done what is required to be done and sent a clear message to everybody else, we will not be having this corruption running amok in our systems. And
as you said there, the company that gave Fatou Barrow those $35 million immediately got a contract with NAWEC.
From NAWEC, yes.
So what does that tell you? Corruption and inducement.
Yeah. Anyway. So it started with that 35 million. And then the Banjul Roads.
Yes.
The Banjul Roads project was $2.4 billion, which is about 41 million US dollars. And then there is the secure report. The contract was 160 million Gambian dollars. The COVID-19 scandal in the Ministry of Health, $600 million. Gambia Ports Authority, one unit, the ticketing unit alone, had a scandal of 400 million Gambian dollars.
And beyond and above that, last year, they waived $4 billion
worth of
tax for the people close to the corridors of power.
Worth of juice.
Yes.
Worth of juice.
Right. That was just in 1 year.
4 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that one unit, 400 million. The National Disaster Management Agency, still pending, 100 million Gambian dollars. $40 million Gambia media contracts. 41 million renovation, $41 million renovation of the airport. Yeah. An airport that leaks, an airport that still doesn't have adequate air conditioning.
Or
proper toilets. 41 million. The OIC roads, Bata Harding. You know, today, Ibrahim Silla was on coffee time. I will let you deal with Ibrahim because he made a comparison that you were a brainchild of. But all what we are going to say is that Ibrahim still is trying to weasel himself out of this. There is no way you can justify the OIC highway to cost $6 million US dollars per kilometer. No way. 6.8 million. Yeah. The highway that he's comparing it with to Kenya, I will leave Lamin to deal with that. But it should suffice to say, Ibrahim still is not telling us what is happening. And we want to know. Ibrahim, inquiring minds want to know. Tell us where those monies went. Account for them. But more importantly, be upfront with Gambians. Stop this game of playing around with information and language. Gambians need accountability, and they are going to hold you to accountability standards. The OIC roads, It's there. Now, the OIC cars, 100 million was loaned to somebody to source cars for the OIC summit, even though the Saudis had committed to providing those cars. Yeah. They're still not accounted for. The Social Security Housing Finance Corporation, 9.8 million euros, the equivalent of 715 million Gambian dollars, given to one car company to buy 30 buses, still not accounted for. The $63 million that was approved for the renovation of the Vice President's official residence, 63 million. Now, listeners and viewers should remember that when when Jammeh left in 2017, the president was operating out of that residence. When he left that residence, it was renovated. Then when the late Barajuf was appointed again, it was renovated again. So this will be the third renovation in 8 years. And it's marks of corruption to me. I don't know about other people, but for me, it's marks onto corruption. The allocation of the Chief Justice's residence in the Fadara booster station to the president, for me, that caps it all. And it caps the kind of impunity this government is well known for. They do things, this is what they're doing. We have power, we will use it in whatever way we deem fit.
You can't do anything about
and you can't do anything about it. That is the impunity we are talking about. This property should not have been allocated to the president under no circumstance because it is state property. Then the national debt. I have talked about the fact that the 2025 budget was around 53 billion Gambian dollars. Some 32 billion of that comes from grants and grants and taxes. The other 22 billion is loans. Now, an economy whose structure is based on grants, taxes, and loans cannot even begin to provide clean water for its citizens. And that's what we are facing. Individuals, private individuals are sinking boreholes. Our municipalities are sinking boreholes in places where it is the responsibility of the government of the Gambia to use our tax monies to sink those boreholes.
And today they are thinking of taxing those boreholes.
Yes, they are thinking of taxing those boreholes or even stopping them.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the issue when we say that there is incompetence, there is indifference, there is impunity and corruption, and there is ethnicity. This is what we are talking about. You cannot provide clean water for your citizens. Ordinary people and municipalities are providing, and some of the development partners and civil society are providing clean water for them. You want to tax them and even go to a point where you're going to ban the sinking of boreholes. How indifferent can a government be? This is the height of indifference. Now, in terms of that budget, the loan portfolio for the 53 billion is 119 billion Gambian dollars. According to them, that's about 85% of our GDP. Now, if 85% of our GDP consists of loans, what do we have left to develop the country? 15%. So they are taking loans, they are contracting loans. They don't tell us who these contractual obligations or who these contracts are with. You just hear them say loans. And 119 billion of that. I happen to think that the loan portfolio is much more than that, and that it is way more than the 85% of GDP that they are talking about.
If you can just pause there for a minute, and we try to go into the local languages about that.
Yes.
Because it's important that the Gambians know about these things. Eka min foten tiyaro mbike kanyim banko kan sunyaro mbike kanyim banko kan kuman keno je parce que man sa kunna mata kuwe keje parce que man sa kunda la nyanta nyi tiyaro ban to la nyanta nyi sunyaro ban to la nyanta nyi corruption o ban ni ma ban is because baro man pare kanyin kele nyanta kella nyami wala na ko audit is a matter of opinion because kamin be foten ntole manyim finti il faut la audit office wala jul fintindi ko tijaro be banko katla na tambitale man sa kunda nyanta wo darnale isa ko do min kadu nyim banko kan ani min ka tuto nyim banko kan tax to ani kan so min ne kan donto milla na dundi dlat ngel ko banko do mi sina faso to je bar ko do be duna dron tax lembang suyen so min na lembang julol lembang mbikata dulaji alu ni ko nga ka janne ngal ko mandunje ibrahima silalo to janna ko nyim batil hadin silo ako dolaro million woro ani wuli keme sey dolaro e wala dum dije kilometer nka ko on to nyaati o te kenola ila report bondi ba nga jube ila interim report bondi nga jube ako te kelo kati ba pare folo o man kañi tara $1 tan nani lul don to ko rek ka fuje ko ati ñento do ko mi kala mamba muta kañam instead of wuli million tadulu ka ko min keje sabita kañam million keme fula ani million nani ko ko batil hadin silo kan
204 million
million keme fula million nani ni o ka signin silo kan isi silo lo ka bo stinko na ka ta fo kitambe kudan fo tan bansala
basé
itu ka kilometer mo wonni fula ni ya doron stin kono ning airport junction e dan wala ngo to kienola ibrahima sila bieta coffee time ako ha la men la reka min fo mo man soto ba ka batil hadin min fo ka compare with tika highway bringa do kunte men kenyel ndifana sita kenyel african development bank je be ba jumale dunje ɓeɗo ne bijita manta sila dow kuula ɗe imanta ingénieur en kuute manta tustoje en teɓe wol kunnalum to lengaw dow ku o ɓartil haadin ɗin tika highway 8 lanes lem lane sey nani karaw kara laɗol bijee lane tanna bijee luulu karaw kara nga flyover soto jee nga tonnonel soto jee min ko kaddi kole sim banko koto duuma ɗum sole fi duñeta findi kara ɗol comme niftata sukuta traffic light isi lol do so duma e dun rawna bato duma ta finti nyaato do li tara santo dul ko bor banko ko to duma le e ka fole tunnel to ngata non bele keje ani fly over andu len tannem lado lado len sey bar bi fa lo ko fita ma ko ha brio ke o kilometer shilling million tan sabani fulalem
kenya kodo
ako so silo habir ya doku atar ka million nani kata million woro $, ka to nyante wote ate min fa ko silin naka mom min fo o mo million fula ani wuli keme woro wulalde ando million fula wuli keme woro wulo mana tan sis futa tawto fon amma fa si fa man to nya fa je fon mana futa to fon atla di amor yo lo damin ya lo sa tewle tema ya lo sa tewle tema ka bandi business solo busi ka wandi kordale busi pour que silo lo noje baran tol bika mo la korda busi bika mo la business so busi ni me jo folo birimbe o kela no kodole ta so korda tiro ni sitan ka tata ngel kordali evaluate ila korda nyanta sanna nyin nan kamule ila business nyanta sanna nyin nan kamule no be check ngam bandi ngi jo fo ngam bandi dum na silo lo katu mo lef ka mo la korda busi ngela business so busi la ita nyin ndiro la banda so ngawli be jor yanmi korda silo do kula wala silo da selendi ban niwol bondi kilometer om $1 million ledi ibrahima sila tol ponya fono la moli yo kam wol filindile ite be ken yabata be journaliste yalla ini sila boko non tous to nyoso tous la ntolle be o kunnano so de ntolle nga lo tete so mbe fari afrika kono silo do ko ni sila do ko la yabule ka ko silo asia do ko ni ya fanye bakala jelle min deta wala fole way tle ka fa haniyata ken lo nyama ka to nyin nanka ma nyata do la wala e ko nyako ko bungo lonye bakala nyi jelle na de sa nyi bakala million kemel la ka to wala nafa ite la profit aussi ya te la fole hani wote ken wala nga fe ko dalon ne ngala jata lolu men mi jola million tandela mi jolo million tandela ya do ku kata janta ko ma ni kala million kemete ba ni ngam be min data be wala kala so wala kata batil hadi njang ma fo janta lolu men min data wala yo fo ni ngebula ye jola nana le jola to le yalo do fo la ñele ñun lebe kering ani suñaro fo son be kata jam ko tege ñi OIC ci lolu mi avec secondary roads même akala million kile do bon la ro million kile do kon ama million kile fulo famos e wuli kile fulo famos el men do wol kon si le fenti karado beti ñaar ker serigne jang do ko la do bi yebe do ko la jeegi e gotal commencé e gotal sulondi sa karfu la si gotal do ko man keno mo man dunno yakar silo basing silo mi ni bota silo kan pour kata wandi sul ko dal gota si wolto alma soron mol man tano ya do ko lo tak karifula ni wati nga modul jeng do ko ko arto mo ne gede han kay ko nya man sakunda manjo karisaba ko wot ko nya karisaba manjo ko nga do go stop say fo njo karisaba la follow ni njo karisaba la ye njo 1 month in advance na do ko damuta silo is parallel to batil harding ya lo woleto kata minin kersiriñ da kata finti bijilo kono kata finti bijilo rawna bato ma fana jana isi lo document gotal keno so ni su façon le siaring uti ñaral be kering airport ko kala million tannan nin kilin ke dollaro airport man air conditioning soto aman sibla betol soto aman jon ko betol soto ni don tannan ni kilin tamin tole sa capital alba concession la banju silo kata ñama million tannan nin kilo fana dollaro ngamir million tannan nin kilo diate ba kele fa
no il lafta talaro le dia
ngamira ko fana ye same thing banyu silo jibe bi nyame bi do ko bikata nyama do ko bikata nyama do wala nyanta banda dul kawle faade so wala yali silale kuru yali min kewoto alman la fi wala fo wala na ko ningal sita alla constitution la sa dum dalum ningal be jila mutal nyinin kala fenna min detal sak mutal nyinin kala nga constitution o bay katu mu tilim bal yalete mbokay li ñu wax rek moy ne li xew ci réew mi duñ ko mëna nangu parce que njublam bi mo fa ëpp doole kum ne ya nga tok salfañe suñu loi yi nga lubal suñu alel tay réew mi ci nguuta bu reuy luy dugal ci nguuta gogo non moy li ñak li nguur gi def fi baña jaar ci yoon baña sam aleli réew mi baña sam seen kaddu moo ñu dugal ci loolu dëkk bi dafa normelu léegi lu tax ndi ger gi fi nekk boo toogee nañu ne yow dugal nga baatil harding highway téeméer ak juróom fukki millions yi dollars pour defar ñaar fukk ak ñaari kilomètres rek ñaar fukk ak ñaari kilomètres dugal nga ci nga ne téeméer ak juróom fukki millions yi dollars loolu mooy kilomètre bu nekk juróom benn million ak juróom ñetti téeméeri junne yi dollar nga ci dugal ñu la mënul am bu ñu wax lu la neex yoon yooyu bu bëri kilomètre bu nekk benn million la moo koy liggéey yow nag wax ñu nga dugale ci ndax nga ci dugale téeméer ak juróom fukki million comme loolu doy sax nga ne ah yow xaral gisagoo dara sax nga dem lebaat juróom fukki million ak ñeneent ne naa ci lookat yi loo ci mun dara lu ma neex ma def maa tey soo mooy léegi ñaar fukki kilomètre ak ñaar bi dina toll ci ñaari téeméer ak ñeneenti millions yu dollars
204 millions
loolu mooy lan loo war a sampee benn million par kilomètre su bëri nga ne dugal nga ci juróom-ñeneenti million ak juróom-ñetti téeméeri junne almost fukki million dollars pour digar benn kilomètre yi yoon foo ko mos a dégg ci àdduna si loolu xew ci réew mi lu leen neex ñu def lu leen neex ñu wax suñ toogee nag jaar feneen dañuy wax lu leen neex foog na ñun ay dof lañ da ngeen jàpp suñu xel waaye ñun jàppuñ suñu xel de parce que dañoo xalaatal suñu bopp li xew xam nañ ko loolu moo fi sës nag moo tax ñu leen du fi amati loolu moo jël seen fit moo tax ngeen toog di wax leen neex rek waaw dinañ fi tuur deret waaw ñii dañ fi amee ay ñu amee ay fetal ak ay gànnaay di tiital doomi réew mi di leen toroxal di leen xoxatal kenn bundu xatatul fii kenn yéen a fi nekk di wax leen neex di def leen neex ngeen ragal ne ëllëg dañ leen laaj pour ngeen wax ci lan ngeen def ci loolu moo jël seen fit te bu soobee yàlla déwén dinañ leen dóor ci réew mi toog seen deq yi génne leen fi UDP toog ñu liggéey réew mi loolu moo leen ragal loo ñun duñ nangu ngeen xeex fii duñ nangu ngeen taal dëkk bi ñun dëkk bi def ñu ñor ñun bugguñ xeex te duñ xeex ak yéen xam nga dañu ne borom caxa du xeex yéen a sol caxa bi ngeen bugg a xeex ñun duñ ko daga dañu la bàyyi yéen su ngeen ëllëg ñu sumee ko teggi ko ne ko teg leen fële te ngeen wéy fële abal ñu ñun duñ xeex ak yéen dañu leen dóor ci élection bëcc leen toog seen deq yi moo fi ses soo fi nekk yéen a xam li ngeen a def waaye ndeyim bi la bi yëpp Adama Barrow la moom mooy ndeyim bi la bi bu ko neexoon lii mu wécceeku waaye daf ci am moom lim ci boole am moom ni ko moom ni kon stop na ko kii moo fi toog nangu suñ kër buñ samp jagleel ko chief justice bi mu ne déet fii kay moom lii moom pour man la baax man kay man maa yelloo lii du chief justice bi te kenn du mayee këri nguur laan paaka boo xam ne kenn samp ci dara loolu la nguur di may jël di ko may wala di ko jaay waaye kër bu ñu samp ba pare bu nguur kenn du ko may kenn ne ko ña moom boo xam state house la waaye mënu ko loi bi daf ko tere te loi bi daf ne ku fi am kër sa tur duñ la joxaat beneen kër su mu ne am na juróom-ñett am na 200 millions ci account am dañu ko war a jox kër.
te loolu 2021 la.
2021. dañu ko jox kër. waaye déet mu nangu kër gi toj ko di ko sampaat te gis nañ li ñu cee def moom moo fi toogoon ne seen kër bi samp bundung seen office bi xaw ma regional office lañ xaw ma ay xayam ma dugal nañ ci $2 millions su fekkee ne lu jël $2 millions li moo samp booster station ubba na $20 millions te $20 millions nañu wax fan la jëlee xaalis bi loolu moo jël seen fit mooy wax ci dul jeex waaye dinañ ko waxtaane 2026 nañ ko waxtaane ku luubal suñu xaalis ku jalgati lu waay réew mi ku salfaañi la dinañ la taaj laaj la wax ñu lan ko defee dañ ñu ko wax te kenn du bunduxtal doomi réew mi loolu jeex na fi 2016 la fi jeex moo tax ñu ne never again waaye li ngeen def yëpp pour xeex doomi réew mi pour jël seen fit doo jël suñu fit ñun loolu passé na soo Sidi Ndiaye dalal te nga màndu moo gën ci yow te buñ ne moo gën ci yow duñ dal sa kaw duñ xeex ak yow parce que ñun loolu dañ ko siixlu parce que ñun dañ siixlu tuur dereti doomi réew mi dañ siixlu jaxase réew mi ñun li ñu ñor mooy jigal réew mi ñu mun ci am seen ax ak seen yelleef soo duñ leen topp ci seen lu bon yi waaye duñ leen bàyyi nag ngeen def ko tam loolu na la óor jërëjëf.
ok nañ conclure boobu pour ñaari laajte rek nguur gi lu tax duñ génnee contrat yi nekk di sign.
exactly.
bu fekkee ne nobuloo dara. nga sign contrat ñu laaj la nga génnee contrat wala. lu gën a yombal affaire bi. deposital contrat yi ci seen website si waaye website si nekkuñ di dox ñu ngi sign contract living Transgambia Bridge contract nañ ko génne Gambia Port Authority contract bi nañ ko génne Ferry Services contract bi nañ ko génne contract yi OIC bi nañ ko génne Ibrahima Silla li mu wax tey yëpp mu ne government waruñoo génne contract yooyu because national secret la wala national security.
ak mu ne international norms nanguñ loolu.
yes
foo ko gisee.
boobu ba amul benn connection ak international norms and standards. In fact the international norms and standards yooyu dañ wax ne soo signé contract sa waa dëkk laajte la nga génnee contract bi won leen ko.
In fact,
that's what transparency is.
doo xaar ñu laaj la ko yaa koy génne.
yaa koo génne.
yaa koy génne parce que loolu mooy sa wargal.
gis nga démba Lamin Botswana seen président bi dafa launch benn plateforme xam nga plateforme bi naka la tudda it's called the forensic audit reports plateforme la boo xam ne suñ audité nguur gi foofu la ñoo def audit reports yi yëpp ku nekk mun a link rek nga gis li fa xew international norm boobu Ibrahima Silla doon wax loolu la mel international norm waxuñ la ne ñi la saanil karta suñ la laajtee contrat nga bañ boo leen jox contrat.
te li ci gën a yéemu mooy audit reports yooyu fii Gambia duñ la jox bu correct mukk.
non it's 5 years old.
dañoo xaar yi xam ne passé woon na 5 years ci gannaaw. juróomi at ci gannaaw yoo lañ laa
5 years old
duñ la jox boo xam ne bu daaw la wala daaw jéeg wala daawaati jéeg loolu doo ko gis.
5 years old
te audit report bi bu dul loolu la nga xam li xew daaw pour nga mën bañ koo def ren li xaw daaw jéeg wala daawaati jéeg pour nga bañ koo def ren loolu mooy audit. dañoo toog yi xam ne ñu ngi xewoon ay juróomi at ci gannaaw juróom-ñaari at ci gannaaw loolu lañ laa génne.
audit reports yu màgget la. Secondly, na Ibrahima Silla génnee reports yi boobu mooy noppal ñëpp dina ko noppal dinañu noppal na génnee contrat yi.
parce que ñun ñoo leen sant liggéey.
yaa
ñun ñoo leen di fay xaalis bi ñoo luubal noonu suñ xaalis la du xaalis sam du xaalis yi Barrow xaalis yi Gambia la ñun ñoo leen ko dénk ñun la ñuy liggéeyal soo ñu xaalis boo ñu ko dugal bu ma jëlee moo tax ma dugal ko suma bitik ne ko nga liggéeyal ma fi. xanaa kay bu weer bi dee kay nga wax ma xaw suma xaalis fan la jaar loo ci am.
Lamin batu nga fo iko wato bina si wala.
Okay.
Man ka kamoto ntol ko lafta men. Ibrahima Diba ning Barrow lam Mansakunda. Ibrahima Silla ning Barrow Mansakunda. Ale contrat kol men sayna li fintinti.
Yes.
Wala be nyum kumo be banna fereng. Nin tonya bal bulu nsal bolo sayin kale tonya bal bulu. Nin tonya bembulu. I hope alfanam bembolo sayla la ka foko tonya ba to lebu. Bari contract to nying. Transgambia Bridge contracto. Port Authority contracto. Ferry Services contracto. Aning jumalam ko teke. Sanyam Port contracto. Anim Mega Bank wafi contracto.
Yes.
Alifintin di bang.
Yes.
Contracto le diamo ke mbe dendi. Nimme besilo kan ko itele besilo kan nimme tesilo kan ko yetesilo kan.
Yes.
Bara alte nyim bondi no lambulu faale contracto bondi rong. Nalman contracto bondi ntol be kiskis lale ni nga jero ke nga ta platform molto nga fo. Alsi ba nyaawo nya. Alsin so nyaawo nya. Woten da handila mba folale. Nyanta men fola. Lafta nga kacha kumfa men nying ID card ko men ika ID card di Mauritanie ka di Gabon alin so demandi drong nga 6 minutes drong nga nyim faram fansin di demandi nying ID card di no anin ka nying corruption o men fo anin sidi njay ka nying kumo men fo ibe kili because ni ID card nyol kanandi no ibe election o sunya ni election o sunya ita sonna konti bola nin konti bo manke tinyaro be continue ntes wo fo no manika count angale count listeners we are saying the issuance of these ID cards according to people who know the law are saying this is illegal. They shouldn't be issuing ID cards in Mauritania or in Gabon. There is no need to use ID cards there. But this government will go ahead and issue those ID cards because they want to rig this election in 2026. They want to rig this election. And for me, I'm personally very disappointed in how the Gambia Immigration Services is just flaunting the law and not obeying the law in terms of whether they should or should not issue ID cards outside of the country. Those people who were in those countries, did they travel there without ID cards or passports? Or shouldn't the Gambian diplomatic missions issue temporary travel documents for those people to go where they need to go to come back to the Gambia and get their passports and ID cards? It's all about rigging the elections. And Sidin Jayo, Demba Sabali, Adama Barrow, all of them, Gambians will not let you rig this 2026 election. We will not let you.
That's the bottom line.
We are going to be there inch by inch, foot by foot to make sure that you do not rig our election. We are going to also make sure that non-Gambians don't vote in our election. No non-citizen should be allowed to choose our leaders for us. We want Gambians to choose their leaders, who they want. If they want President Barrow, fine. If they want Usainu Dabo, fine. If they want Mama Kande, fine. But it must be only Gambians voting for their leaders. Let them issue these contracts. We want to see these contracts. It will sort out all this back and forth we are having with them if those contracts were just dumped in the public domain. The issue of international norms, if Ibrahim Silla knows what he's talking about, international norms, he would have released these reports in a transparent way. Because I remember one civil society individual sued them. The court case is still not on. So there is no transparency, there is no accountability. And all they do is flaunt impunity. We are in power, we can do what we want to do, and there isn't a damn thing you can do about it. This is what defines this government. Incompetence, indifference, corruption and impunity, and ethnic politics. That is the legacy of this Barrow administration.
Thank you, Larry, and I think you've summarized it very well there. And what should be clear to them is that we will not allow them to rig these elections. We know what they're up to. If you cannot give ID cards to Gambian citizens living in the country here, why do you have to go outside to give it to them in contravention of the laws of the country? Why do you have to do that? What is the interest? But what they should remember is that they might do that to inflate the voter rolls, but that will not reflect in our elections. Because boy, oh boy, are we ready for you?
On the spot counting.
Are we ready for you? You will not rig the elections here again. That will not happen. You can do all you like. You can shout as much as you like. You can threaten as much as you like. Try to intimidate. Nothing will work. You will not rig elections here again. And we will not sit to allow you to rig so we go to the Supreme Court. No, we're not going to the Supreme Court. We will follow the results and we will declare them, and you cannot rig elections here anymore. Gambians are fed up with you people, with your unending corruption, with your unending bad governance.
With your unending impunity.
Impunity and the tribal politics. We want to build a nation, not a conglomeration of ethnic groups which are going to be at loggerheads and trying to fight each other. No, we want to build a Gambia where we'll have the Gambian see himself as a Gambian, not as a Mandinka, a Fula, Sarahule, a Manjago, a Jola, or whatever. No, we are Gambian. And that is what we want to. These other things are factors that enrich us further. The ethnic groupings, the religious groupings, the regional, they are enriching factors.
Diversity.
That diversity should lead to inclusion and enrichment of the Gambia and the Gambian population and the Gambian politics, not a factor for division. There isn't a Gambian here worth his salt, worth his or her salt, who does not have friends and family in the other ethnic groups. It doesn't exist. How do you think you're going to make me sit here and say something wrong about the Wolof, about the Jola, about the Fula, about the Aku, etc.? How do you think you're going to make me? No, I will not. You can troll me as much as you want. I will not go there. I will not go there. That is not me. That is not the majority of Gambians. We have lived in harmony We have coexisted peacefully and lovingly. You go anywhere with your friends, you don't even care whether they're which tribe they are. It's time to eat. Their mother will call all of us, we all sit and eat. When it's Christmas in the Gambia, you think everybody is Christian in this country. When it's Eid, everybody is Muslim.
And when it's Easter, it's the same.
Everybody is Christian. That's who we are as Gambians. And that's what we want to nurture. We will not let people like you, Sidi Njai, Ahmad Ba, Adam Barrow, and all your ilk, we will not let you destroy our country. This national fabric is very important to us, and we will safeguard it. Mbente sonnali na banko fara. La fe mo mekela benda wote kan kara nyobala. Man la fi masakunda lanceto wala me mo fara la nyobala man la fi wala. La fa mbika ke kilingo to mo ka wala ngam banko kanjanga. Nga nyomu nga nyo xoro nga nyo buña. La fa wala continuer. Ndol na te kelela. Quand man la fi kelo ndol la fa chile wala nyim banko ka banko ta ñaato. So mbali ni ko mbali kella carton la quartier fay carton mbali kella la won ani loi ntol man fangolonde mamuru long man kidi long ntol ngami lo wole loi ani tilingo ani alanya silang
ani londo
ani kapala faga be digole ke makoy altul mo do soto altul kun kilingo dron nintebe ke kuren do ni to be ni alo e fanna haji tiji antul so na wala parce que momu len rewmi momu len fi ken ñun dañoo sama moy doomi rewmi.
Time is up.
Yes, sen banex sen ak sen yelef li gën ci doomi rewmi lañ bugga ñun gis nga bo toge ne rewmi nañ ko taal yow dañ ci amul dara de bo ci amon dara do ñu taal ko ñun dañ fi am dara nag fii lañ juddoo fii lañ faaxee ko
fii la suñ lépp
nekk ñun duñ nangu ko taal réew mi duñ ko taal te duñ nangu ko taal soo dañ leen xeex te bu nit dañ leen xeex mooy dañ leen xeex ak carte ñun xamuñ paaka xamuñ jaas yi xamuñ fetel ñun kàddu bu baax lañ xam yar ak teggin mandu dal teey loolu lañ xam.
ok
soo jërëjëf Sidi Ndiaye sa waxaat bi du fi jàll jërëjëf.